This is not good. When you think of The Matrix, assuming you've seen The Matrix, what do you think of? I think about Keanu Reeves, rotating around Keanu Reeves, gun kata. Women? Maybe. Most of all, though, I think of green. This is a very green movie. So imagine my shock at age 13 when my dad buys the new green Blu-ray of the movie, and we think we must be tweaking because the movie was green, yes, but never this green, surely. He pops in the DVD to check, and yeah, no, this shit got greened the fuck up. Somebody laced my fucking Matrix with green. They greened my Matrix. What the fuck? It was true. Now it is false. How does this happen? I just want to see what it looked like at the theater. A decade later, I decided to look into this, expecting a relatively simple answer to a relatively simple question. Instead, I have read several historical articles, 2 entire books, and spoken to an entire colorist, only to emerge from the pits with a large green frown. I am going to attempt to condense all of what I've learned, and hopefully, by the end, we will have some semblance of how we got greened. So, here's a question only a sick bastard would ask. Was The Matrix even supposed to be green? In 1903, the Wachowski sisters watched Ghost in the Shell. They later thought to themselves, we might be woman. And thus, the seeds of The Matrix had been sown. Then later in '99, they filmed The Matrix on film. First thing I learned is that the Wachowski sisters are women. The second thing I learned is how film is processed, from the stuff in the cameras to the stuff in the projector, or the TV. The result is referred to as a film transfer because it was transferred from you get it. Basically, they take the film and they do stuff to it I don't care to explain to you. Here's a book. The part we care about is color timing, which is the part during the transfer process where the color laboratory adjusts the image's contrast, color saturation, white balance, and so on. This is one of the ways movies shot on film get their look. It's the part where it goes from looking like this to this. This process is done separately for various platforms, from theaters to trailers to home releases. Here's Bill Pope, DP for The Matrix, talking about what he did for that production specifically.
Since we wanted the Matrix reality to be unappealing, we asked ourselves, what is the most unappealing color? I think we all agreed on green, so for those scenes, we sometimes used green filters, and I'd add a little bit of green in the color timing.
Bill specifically states that they sought out the ugliest color, and he really outdid himself. Or, you know, that's what I would say if I knew what fucking green he actually picked. Regardless, this is at least part of how The Matrix entered green phase 1. Cool. Awesome. Smile. It's worth noting here that this quote confirms to us that the movie was always supposed to be green. Anyone who tells you otherwise is a liar and a penis head. Head made of penis. More on this later. Don't go anywhere. Noodle Gaming will be right back.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the reviews with another video from your host, White Morpheus. This time we've got a laptop.
You want to do that one more time?
This is the ROG Strix 18. Inside you'll find up to an Intel Core Ultra 9 processor, 275HX with up 65W watt TDP. Also included is up to a NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090 laptop GPU with 175 watt max TGP. You can see that you like magic, the back comes away and you can see all of the inner workings that make it tick. Upgradability has never been so easy, and it's sure to have you saying, whoa. Let me tell, here's my favorite feature. Hack in with style with the full surround aura RGB and anime vision that be one in a crowd. You can get one. You can get one yourself with the link here at this link, and I'll see you in the Matrix.
Now back to more awesome shit on Julian Gaming. This version, the DVD, is more or less how everyone saw The Matrix at home until like 2007-ish. Yeah, the VHS and the Laserdiscs were slightly different, whatever, I don't give a fucking care. Notable example, Robert Nessler, known for his normal head, art director for Shiny Entertainment, known for the best video game ever made, and Roblox Oof, were using the DVD as primary reference material for, among other things, their own officially licensed Matrix game.
Robert Nessler notes one particular problem that he and folks at Warner Bros. Kept coming back to. Getting the greenish quality in the Matrix to everybody's satisfaction, he reveals. Owen Patterson, the movie's production designer, explained to us that he never felt that the DVDs got it right. This wasn't ideal, considering Robert had been using these as a primary reference. To be honest, I don't recall the exact issue, but I think at the time the method for shifting color in film was called color timing, and it was a manual/analog process. For whatever reason, when the DVDs were made, that quality was not matched exactly, and so we were off.
My ground true is also false. This is actually fine and normal for a guy like me. Obviously, this begs the question, what the fuck? If we can't trust the DVD, and we can't trust the Blu-ray, what can we trust? The anti-greeners? The penis heads? Blue pill? These kinosexuals genuinely think that the OG is bereft of green, despite there being concrete evidence to the contrary. And to be fair, I did a lot of research. This article wasn't super easy to find, but regardless, this false is a true to many. Where are they getting this true? Turns out, there's a bustling enthusiast community dedicated to sourcing, scanning, and digitizing original theatrical film reels. The very same ones used in theaters back in the day. Basically turning this thing into an MP4. This isn't a new practice, but it's easier to make an amateur scan now than it was 10, 20 years ago, and a hell of a lot easier to share it around online. Even a guy like me with Head of Stupid managed to find one myself. And here it is. Literally, this is it. This is a scan of the thing from the theater. Like this is physically, literally what was shown to people. This is so cool that we have this, and it's fucking green. Stop saying it's not green. Stop it. I described this version of the film as inconsistent. Some scenes feel familiar. Others feel like they came from the moon. If all you've seen of the film scan is a screenshot of this scene, you'd be forgiven for thinking the whole movie is supposed to look like this. I mean, after all, how often do you see a version of a movie with such drastically different colors from scene to scene, or even from shot to shot? Especially if you've seen a different version where these discrepancies have been corrected in post. That's the big thing I take away from this unofficial scan. What we're seeing could be a much less refined version of the movie. Shooting on film is an inexact science, turns out. It's weird, it's a little fucked up, and it's green sometimes. If we treat this, the thing that was actually shown to people in the theater, as the new true, then I think we can make a couple of assumptions. I think that the DVD is trading off contrast for consistency, which is maybe how they ended up with that muddy green look. Then, you know, they re-release it, and the computer is a thing now, and so they go back, and it gets even more green, I guess. So yeah, the scan is weird, but it is the true that people saw in '99, right? Well, according to the colorists and the books I spoke to, wrong! Apparently, if Warner had multiple different film labs producing theater prints, a very normal thing to do at the time, each lab more than likely had at least slightly different photochemical processes of processing the thing, making each lab's prints despicably unique. This happened in 1999. It is now 2025. Film degrades over time. Did you know? The physical film reel shrinks, becomes brittle, and the color shifts. Like a lot! God does his own color pass, and also, he's wrong! No one but the filmmakers know for sure what it's supposed to look like, and even their memory ain't always perfect. There's always educated guesswork, interpretation. Accounting for all of this is hard. For professionals, this scan was not made by 20 restoration specialist photochemical colorist experts kissing hands sloppy style with 11 It was done by Guy! These fucked up colors. They could be the result of shooting conditions, the release print, film degradation, the scan itself, the way it was interpreted, penis heads, God, or all of the above. Who knows? This tells me nothing. This tells me less than nothing. I'm worse because I watched it. I just want to see what it looked like in the theater. Why is this so hard? I feel like there's no right choice. I either take the green pill, or the green pill, or the green pill, or the green pill. There's a fourth green pill. In 2018, the movie was professionally rescanned and released in 4K HDR, and again, it looks completely fucking different. Jan Yarbrough of Warner Bros. MPI was tasked with the color correction and grading of the new version, overseen by our man, director of photography Bill Pope himself.
Working with Bill, I've come to realize that he has a full understanding and appreciation for the dynamics of the HDR format. Director of photography Bill Pope has taken advantage of HDR to create a version with color timing as it was originally intended, crafting a high-resolution digital master that is more accurate than the original theatrical release. More accurate.
Mm-hmm.
More accurate than the original.
Yeah, even more than the original.
No, it isn't. What are you talking? How can it be more accurate than the original theatrical
It's simply more accurate than the original, Ed.
What are we comparing it to?
For the original.
Nothing? This doesn't make any sense!
I don't know whether they're referring to the release prints, the first round of home releases, or what. I'm stupid. Doesn't really matter. Point is, they're pitching the 4K as more accurate than previous versions. Whatever that means. In practice, it feels like a direct response to people's problems with the green ray. Most of the time, it bears a striking resemblance to the fan scan I showed you earlier, lending at least some credibility to the way that one looks, albeit with, more balance and detail, which is to be expected, but still, look at the shadows here. Night and day. It's weird. The 4K looks distinctly cool. It feels like even more of a departure from the warm as shit DVD than the Blu-ray, which... Man, this isn't even color theory. This is green theory. It's just different. I don't know why it's different. Nothing is simple. Everything sucks penis. I'm running out of normal, and unless Pope or the Wachowskis or anyone else close to the production with a good working memory of 25 years ago is willing to speak definitively on this, all I can do is speculate. If I can't see it the way it was meant to be greened, I can at least try to understand how I got greened. So on that note, here's my timeline. Here's my best guess as to how all this happened, as best as I can tell. I'm not a penis head, I've done my research here, but I was born while The Matrix was still in production. Please, please take this with a dollop of salt. Okay? Okay. The fan scan is probably a glimpse into what the theatrical release might have looked like based on its similarities to the 4K and Jan's insistence that the 4K targets accuracy. It's probably more accurate to the filmmaker's vision than the DVDs, based on Nestler's account of Patterson's statement that they never got that version right. The DVD is probably demonstrative of the shortcomings of film transfers at the time. It's warm, almost muddy, kind of low contrast, and almost feels underexposed at times. Even the most expensive and popular movies were susceptible to shoddy home media transfers, and through a green twist of fate, these discrepancies have become base-level true for countless people. This song is so fucking awesome. Both later DVDs and the Blu-rays had this harsher, greener look. By this point, the sequels had dropped, and I doubt that's a coincidence. Reloaded and Revolutions, released in 2003 and 2003 respectively, relied far more heavily on digital color grading, which is a fundamentally different way of handling color. You can turn the lights on without destroying the film. More control, more specificity, more green. This is probably one of the reasons why they look so different compared to the OG. I'm willing to bet that Patterson, or the Wachowskis, or perhaps this West Indies shrew made the executive decision to retroactively unify the look of all three movies. I mean, after all, it'd be a golden opportunity to make up for what they saw as a less than stellar initial release, and, you know, people are likely to notice if one of their movies is piss yellow and the other two are shit green in the fancy new box set releasing on December 7th, 2004. Please remember that this is all speculation. Here's some more salt if you want it. Did you know that the first green version of the movie hit shelves December 7th, 2004? Comparing the DVD to the Blu-ray, probably, shows us the best and worst of analog color timing in the 90s versus digital color grading in the 2000s. IMHO being TBH honest, for real, the original looks more natural, but the regrade is more balanced, more precise in its adjustments, and closer to the filmmaker's green vision. Not everyone was a fan of this change. I was not a fan of this change. Fast forward another 10 or 15 years, the new 4K transfer seems to be probably an attempt to finally recapture the look of the movie as it appeared in theaters. Not the DVD we're nostalgic for, and not the attempted unified look of that first re-release. This version, perchance, shows us how much the aforementioned digital color grading has evolved over the last 20 years or so, with more nuanced adjustments to color, more detail in the shadows and highlights, and less gleep-glorp looking-ass skin tones. So okay, big picture. Together, this whole timeline of releases shows us the importance of film preservation, restoration, and how much it fucking sucks that I had to do months of research just to be able to guess. I am still just confidently guessing here. This could all be bullshit. My head may be a penis. Even getting your hands on a particular version of the fucking thing is a challenge in and of itself. It never ends. Once it leaves the theater, there is literally no way to watch the theatrical version of practically any movie ever. I do not have a time machine. I will never be able to go back and see what The Matrix actually looked like. A show print would be close, but even then, arguably, still not perfect. Which one's the right one? None of them. Which one's the best? I don't know. But of all the versions we have out in the wild, personally, I'll take the latest one. It's not perfect, not even close. Man, but it's about as close as I could realistically hope for. And at this point, I'll take it. I have spent the entirety of the video thus far focusing exclusively on The Matrix, which is one movie. But they kept making them. Similarly to The Matrix, The Big Lebowski is a movie a ton of people think is supposed to look like this, but no, according to a guy I interviewed who saw a well-preserved release print a year or two ago, this, the somewhat controversial 4K release, is probably more accurate to how it looked in the theater. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is evil and fucked up, having been released with at least 5 significantly different looks. And although the most recent 4K is likely the most accurate we've gotten so far, we still can't be sure. But look at this, it's the good, the bad, the blue, and the normal. The movie. Jurassic Park had a pretty great track record with releases all in all. Here's the DVD, here's the Blu-ray, here... fuck was that? When William Friedkin came in to oversee the HD release of The French Connection, he made a lot of French choices that I think are bad, which is weird, because like he's not even French. There's a video you can find online of him explaining in great detail how he went about ruining his movie, just for you.
So it's very subtle.
It's very subtle.
It's not something that leaps out at you or that looks like a big change in color.
No.
It was quietly re-released a couple years later with the changes reversed. So Sevenin had a William distinct looks in theaters and even more distinct home releases. I think there's still debate over which of these is, correct. And debate over what the word correct even means in this context. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to bash anyone directly involved in handling these releases. The people involved in these film transfers, restoration, and distribution, they care deeply about getting this shit right. Because if they didn't, they'd have picked a different career. The problem here is that nobody with the power to actually make a difference seems to give a fuck about anything other than controlling their intellectual property. This whole process of handling film, scanning it, treating it, grading it, encoding and distributing it for various platforms, it's a thankless art, taken for granted by many. By me, until I sat down and did my research. I am a reformed penis head. And now every time I watch a movie shot on film that actually looks good, I'm blown away. Not just by the quality of the thing, but by the fact that the people responsible for the transfer managed to pull it off. Movies are fucked up and evil. If there's one silver lining, it's that with modern technology and standardized workflows, movies made today are, for the most part, pretty accurate across formats. My hope for the future, though, like the song, is a beautiful world in which each version of a given piece of art is easily accessible, if for no other reason their historical value. In case it wasn't clear, getting my hands on all of these versions of this movie was not easy. Never mind making sense of them. It should not have been this hard. Maybe someone out there wants to see the Terminator less blue. Maybe someone wants to see the racist cut of Blade Runner for no reason. Maybe Lord of the Rings was meant to be seen with a dogshit regrade, bit-crushed, transcoded, motion-smoothed, color-enhanced, auto-HDR, denoised, upscaled at 2x speed. Just as Peter Jackson intended.
This video was a hell of a thing to research. As someone who didn't know about most of this going in, I would like to give a thank you to Devin Scott for walking me through the basics, to Ed for helping me to write the thing as well as edit it together, and Sam and Quiet and Ed for lending their voice to particular quotes and shit. Patron Q&A. When is the next Gaslight? Well, if I told you, it wouldn't really be a Gaslight, would it? Do you have any interest in speedrunning? You know, at one point I thought I could maybe speedrun Halo CE, and then I looked at a speedrun for Halo CE, and I said, you know, I'll leave y'all to that. That's okay. It's all right. What is a game or topic you wish to God you could do a video on, but for whatever reason the stars aren't aligning properly to find a compelling angle or narrative to tackle it from? Probably just a general thing about Hot Wheels Highway 35. World Race, because god damn it, I love that thing so much, and I could talk about it forever, but I have nothing of value to say about it. How do you explain to normal people why one would play a game that's objectively bad when they could play one that's good instead? An example would be Enter the Matrix or the Frogger games. Well, I have a few problems with this question. Firstly, how do you explain, like, how do you define normal people? Also, what is objectively bad? I don't know if you can really assign a piece of art a label like that either without a ton of mitigation over what that means. And also, I would not recommend anybody play the Frogger game on Xbox Live. I would not wish that upon anyone. But I mean, generally, it depends on what you think the person would get out of it. Like, do they care about art? Because if so, you need to spend time with bad things, because they teach you about what makes good things good. It is important to learn from failure, lest you fail yourself.